Welcome back, friends and neighbors out there in Chiefs Kingdom and around the NFL world. Glad that you're here. We have some things to talk about tonight because as the 53 push is on, things are changing. We have some moves to discuss. We're going to take a look at what the 53 is going to look like compared to what I thought I should do yesterday. We're going to clarify a couple of things on that piece as well. And I want to show you something, particularly about the linebacker group, that I'm really intrigued by going forward. So, hey, we're going to get right into it and answer all of your questions. And hey, let's just get started now. Welcome to RGR Football. Welcome back, everybody. I'm very happy to see you here. If you're new, like, sub, and hit that bell notification. Leave your comments down in there. And if you want to super chat and support the show, we certainly appreciate it. Some very interesting stuff before we even started tonight. I want to say thank you. If you do choose to support the show through super chat or hitting the store over on Teespring, because you can get all of our gear there as well. That's right down there. Just please ask a question for it. That's what tonight is for your questions. So if you are to super chat, please get something for it, and I will try to answer everybody tonight regardless, but definitely the super chatters no matter what. Lot going on here. Zach Duggar, congratulations. You beat Ben. That is hard to do, and evidently I'm not the only one that found that pretty interesting. Javonzi said the same thing, so I am glad to hear that. Lot going on, and you guys have seen the news kind of trickle in. I do want to make one thing very, very clear off the bat, and that is all of these things are reports. That means that someone has told one of the beat reporters what they think is going to happen. Doesn't mean that it necessarily will. None of these moves are official until they hit the transaction wire, and we found out late this afternoon from Matt Derrick, who has access to it, nothing's official yet. They didn't do anything officially today. So I'm checking with all my sources from around the league, and maybe I'll get a tidbit here. Maybe I can break something tomorrow. I'm not 100% yet. But all the other reports are, again, something that has to be corroborated. I know there's a few out there that are making some outlandish stuff or running down lists that they say that they have confirmed. I haven't been able to confirm anything that hasn't come from the actual beat writers to this point. So just take everything with a grain of salt. I don't want anybody getting misled or getting upset or anything like that. I do want to talk about the fact that Ben Brotbeck, as always, I appreciate it very much. Super chatter extraordinaire for helping us out and supporting us here. And I'm sure Ben has something down here, though. And not that you've been dethroned, but hey, just want to say thank you. I did miss a couple. And like I said, if I was not clear last night on the 53 video, that's my 53. That's what I would have done. And that includes Damone Harris, Zane Anderson, and Amari Cobb. Amari Cobb, I think, was probably my biggest stretch, but I chose in my 53 to gamble on athleticism, gamble on the upside of upgrading athleticism, hoping those guys will grow into it. Clearly, Dave Tobe is winning all these discussions. That's why the guys that are still left are still left. And so for those of you that sided on what you saw and what you thought and what you saw particularly on special teams, well done. I decided to go away from that. Now, over on the Locked On show, we did a little bit more straightforward. You know, Chris was a counterpart to me, so I pushed one way, he pushed another, and really came to consensus. And so far, we've actually hit on all of them as a pair. So that's how I kind of approach all those things. That said, I see some questions in here. If you're new, I do want to clarify. If you put the question marks at the beginning of your sentence, it'll help me find them more. And now I'm also going to unshare because I'm going to try to get this window a little bit bigger and cleaner so we can all see it as it comes down. That is my goal, to make things nicer. And I'm going to reshare this and just kind of share this window for right now. I do have something special to show you guys here in a minute that kind of illustrates my point on the linebackers themselves. Okay, there. That's looking a little bit better, I think. And I can probably clean that up even a little bit more and get us a little bit more visual there. There we go. Okay, so this is just the general roster in case we need to refer to it. And I know that my video looks pretty bad, so if I crunch this down to one side, it generally starts to look better. Oh, it looks best here, right? But that said, this is where we're at. We've seen those reports. In particular, I think the practice squad is going to be pretty healthy this year, and I'm very excited about that. And it looks like Ben was too. Who do you want to make the practice squad? Okay, and so here's what I want. I want the practice squad to be uber athletic, smart guys that have the upside, that if somebody goes down, that it's not a less experienced and less knowledgeable person coming in that doesn't have anything that can help them. The better athletes, I think, when they're pressed into service, when they're pulled from the practice squad and have to play, I think the most athletic guys have the most opportunity to hang in and not cause like a big backslide on the level of play on the field. And that's really, at the end of the day, what's most important. And I just, unfortunately, screened by and lost the other super chat from Drummer Dude. Thank you. I do have it. Let me see if I can I post it? No, I can't make it display. So I apologize. But I have your question right here, Drummer, and I'm going to get to it here in just a second. As I finish this thought, that while some of these cuts are not what I would have done, you can certainly see how the staff got to them. And the option to bring these guys back on the practice squad, I think, again, allows them to continue to learn as a practice player. And then they have the athleticism that I think can be a boon when and if they get lifted to the actual roster. Okay, so Drummer Dude, thank you very much. Appreciate it. And his question, I'm sorry I can't display it, but I'm going to do my best to read it correctly. Do you think the revamped O-line has had a positive impact on the D-line? I would imagine the increased level of competition in practice would amount to something. I think you're definitely on to something. And if I pull up, who is it in particular that I was thinking of just a minute ago? It is Tyler Clark. And I think Tyler Clark is a guy that if he can get to the practice team, help them develop. Because I thought he had some good snaps, even in preseason game number 3. And the fact that level tells you something, I think that helps sharpen the offensive line. And I think, honestly, we got a lot of oohs and ahs out of the one-on-ones at camp this year. I think that means something. That helps you in terms of the aggression, the physicality. Just that allows you to prepare a little bit better for the next team down the line, particularly the Cleveland Browns that are coming up next. So that does mean something. And at the end of the day, it helps the D-line as well. So, like, there's no way to lose that. I think the only thing about being physical in camp that is an issue or a risk is the injury part. So if you can get away with that, I think you're in good shape. Thank you, Drummer. I appreciate the support. Thank you very much, folks. Again, if you are going to super chat us, make sure give us the question underneath it so I can get you something for it. That was a big one, Drummer, and I know you're in the Discord, so we'll follow up if we need to. I have a kind of a tight night tonight. I got a dog at the vet. I got a volleyball practice I got to get to for the kids, like all kinds of stuff going on. But JC asked, why did Amari Cobb get cut and more wide receiver room? I don't think they were ever going to keep 6 linebackers. That is a factor because of the wide receiver room and because of the O-line room. I leaned towards 10 linemen this whole offseason until the last couple of days when I started to look at like where Fountain and Kemp were performance-wise, where Fortson and Bell were performance-wise versus the offensive line, 9 and 10. That's why I kind of, at the last minute, moved over. I won't say that's necessarily what it is, but I think you're on to something. Is those 2 position groups in particular, like, need some volume. And that may be why you couldn't keep 6. And at the end of the day, it comes down to what you can do for this team. And this is where Dave Tobe is winning. I expect now, with the Amari Cobb cut, I expect Darius Harris to get cut as well. And I expect Dorian O'Daniel to be the guy that lands on the roster with Bolton, Hitchens, Willie Gay, who does not have turf toe that I have any information on from any reputable source. So I don't know where the turf toe thing came from. I've seen it on social media this afternoon. I have 0 credible sources that are echoing that. So that one is kind of out of left field. But along with those guys in Neiman, I think it's going to be DOD. And I'll show you exactly why I was a little concerned about that. I got to change the share again, so that I can hopefully make this show up pretty well. Maybe not. Nope, wrong one. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, maybe I can do that. There we go. All right, so I'm going to share this back because I want you guys to see this. And this is kind of what it came down to me, or for me. As I blow this up, I'll actually go full view. And this is the athletic matrix scores from all the linebackers that were in camp. And you can see here that Willie Gay Jr., he's a unique specimen. This score, this 96.225, you can see where that ranks over here in the purple in the rank overall. That's in the last 9 classes of draft picks. So that tells you that's better than Isaiah Simmons. That's how significant this is. And you can see the next best score in camp is Amari Cobb. And I thought he flashed in the first game. I thought he looked solid in the second and the third, a little bit more in the third, and they got him in and they took him back out. So I thought maybe he had a chance. Now, Dorian's still in the top 4 here. He's still above the 3 guys that will play in this base defense in Neiman, Bolton, and Hitchens. And the significant thing that he has, Dorian, is the experience playing for Dave Toub in the special teams. That's what it comes down to for me. Now, I will show you this too. If I can go to the next one, maybe I can't. So I'm going to have to kill that. And I'm going to have to go over here because I want you guys to see this too. Because this is so far the performance. And you can see some things are flipped in that Anthony Hitchens and Nick Bolton are pretty down on the level of the athleticism matrix. Let me see if I can move that. Okay, so you can still see me. So they're a little bit down on the list of the athletic matrix. But here they're performing up at the top, right with Willie Gay. He and Nick Bolton are going to be the pair. Look at that. Now, again, this is a grain of salt with the PFF rankings, grades. But it does give you something to go by. Willie Gay missed a couple of tackles that he shouldn't have, quite frankly, and then I think he'd be probably the best linebacker on this roster, even by their grades. But then you see how outside of that middle linebacking instinct and experience, right, then you get into Willie, and then you get to Cobb. And I think that's the interesting part. Whereas Dorian, even though he's got the experience, he's got the least performance in this preseason, according to PFF anyway. I'd put it on par with some of the others. But this is why part of the reason that I made my 53 go where I made my 53 go. And I just want you guys to understand where I'm coming from so that you're not like, oh, he's a crackpot and he doesn't have any clue what he's thinking. I have a lot of clues about what I'm thinking. I'm just not always right. So that's the way that it goes. But JC, thank you for the question. Didi, I guess Bernard got let go. I didn't know that yet. That would be interesting. As a reserve to come in as a run-only stopper, because I do think teams are going to try to run on them. That's worth the effort. Travis, thank you very much for the super chat. Appreciate it. Okie dokie, that is probably me. I've been having all kinds of internet issues for the last couple of days, and it still looks like it's barely creeping along. So my apologies. The video kind of sucks, and that's kind of on me. Not kind of, actually. It just is. So I'm going to share again, and hopefully that will clean some of it up, give you guys something else to look at here. And that'll be part of the roster there. So as we go through, I want to check out the other questions. Ben had one. Now we will see the film room make decisions on if and who we might bring in. That's true. These are the busiest 2 days outside of the draft itself for the front office, for the personnel department, because they have been reviewing as all these games go on, everybody. So 90 players a team or however many participate in each game each week so that they can get an idea of targets, so they can get an idea of if we can upgrade, if somebody's let go, if somebody's super strong at, say, the linebacker spot and they let somebody go, who can we pick up that can actually make us better at that position? That's what they've been doing. And they are cramming it right now as they make some of these decisions. They've been working all weekend to try to look at even more. it is a long and tedious process that they are going through. I will tell you that. Alex, first time commenting. I'm glad you were here. Welcome. Saw a tweet saying Willie had turf toe, but no one else had supporting claim on that insight. No, I have not heard that from anybody that I know has contacts inside the team. So I'm guessing that's conjecture. Or somebody heard something from somebody and somebody. I got nothing. No, none of the sources that I know have true info have corroborated that. Is it just me? But based off of last year, looking at the schedule, it's going to be a battle every week. It actually is, Terrell, especially the first half, I think. Nothing against the Denver defense, but I think it starts to ease up when you have Denver twice in that stretch at the back of the year. We'll find out. When the Chiefs cut a player and put on the practice squad, can other teams sign the players on the practice squad? Yes, they can. You can protect a couple. That's the new rules. There's 16 on, and I believe that you can protect 2 each game, so they cannot be signed away. Now, that's also, I have to say, the option of the player. Now, usually the money's so good because they have to be signed on to the 53 that the players are generally always going to take it. And I can't blame them. It's a chance to get on an active roster. So that is a possibility. But the key thing is right now, veterans that are let go here by the deadline tomorrow, they're just free agents. Nobody can take them from you. So if the Chiefs want, say, a Blake Bell or a Damone Harris, who he's practice squad eligible, but I don't think he's waiver mandatory. So for those 2 guys, you can release them and say, hey, we want to bring you. Okay. Looks like we're back. Like I said, I've been having some internet connection problems here for the last day or 2. I'm going to try to get those cleaned up here for you real quick. Hopefully it won't be very long. That said, you can tell them, hey, we want to bring you back in a few. You know what, you guys, would you please let me know that you can still hear and see me real quick? I want to make sure that I confirm that. I'm going to miss out on something here. Rather than hitting the waiver wire. So, Gary, that's the difference is young guys go to the waiver wire where they can be pulled by other teams. If somebody would hit me real quick in the chat to let me know, I'm going to go check it just to see so I don't lose my place here on the other software. And I know this is a look behind the shadows here, you guys. Apologies for this. And okay, all good. Back, yes. Okay, rock on. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that. I am going to keep trying to keep it that way. Oh, it's been a night. I'll tell you that. Back to the roster. Okay, so to finish that up, Gary, whereas the young players that are 3 years vested and under, they can be grabbed. Other teams have an order where they can select them and you have no choice. You will lose some of those guys. And that's what they mean by sneaking somebody onto the practice squad. It means that in the flood of players, hopefully you get somebody there where they don't get claimed because that's the biggest. Eric, I thank you for that, and I'm glad that you're here. Sorry for the technical difficulties tonight just after you say that. Ryan Sang said, I'm assuming no, but any validity of these turf toe? None that I found yet, Ryan. That doesn't mean that there's nothing. Somebody could have somebody that actually knows something. I just haven't been able to confirm it, so I'm not going to say it. Mr. Uber Crows, thank you very much. Not Chiefs, but man, isn't Gardner Minshew better than a third-string quarterback? Yeah, I think so. Although I will say this too. I'm a fan of Hurts. I think that he's going to make progress. I think the staff is probably not the best thing to mentor him, but we'll see what happens. I thought that was kind of an interesting development. Joe, do the players get cut today, clear waivers tomorrow? Or do we have to wait till September 1? It's my understanding that the transactions don't hit until the deadline tomorrow, and then it's the waiver wire. So I don't think we're going to hear about acquisitions or guys getting picked up tomorrow. It's a little bit murky because they haven't announced that part of the practice squad rules or the offseason rules. So I'm waiting on a press release to know exactly how it's supposed to work. So NFL PR, if you could let me know that, I'd appreciate it. DD, yeah, I was saying before, like he's certainly a run-specific player. He is not a coverage guy. He's the kind of linebacker they're trying to get away from. So I don't think it's going to happen, but he certainly would be good against the run if they needed to do that. Eric, thank you very much. So the Vikings gave a 32-year-old safety who has lost a step 4 for 64. Yeah, they did. And that is, I agree with, I think you've seen probably a lot of people say it. That's now the floor for Tyrann Mathieu. Absolute floor. And so this and Jamal Adams' contract have made him more expensive. But I don't think the expense was the issue to begin with. I think it was the length of years. So maybe this helps them. Maybe this helps Tyron in order to get the big contract, take a year or two off of his demand, and maybe they can get that done. I hope that they can. Again, folks, if you're asking questions, please put the questions at the beginning like Cole did here. Are you surprised that it appears as though Jody Fortson has made the roster finally? If he makes the roster, I'm not surprised. I think he's earned it. But B, we haven't seen another tight end let go either. So that does nothing that I've seen today indicates to me that Jody's safe. I am trying to find out what's going on with him. And I will let you know when I know. But I wouldn't read into like the Schoen and the Shepard releases and the French release. I don't think those necessarily play into whether Jody makes it or not. Night Hunter, thank you very much. I love seeing that rogue. Yeah, that makes me happy. Now I think I lost something here. And I'm going to have to do this real quick and verify because I think I lost somebody's super chat because of that connection issue. Zach, Drummer, Ben, Travis, Uber Crows, Eric. Oh, and Zach came back. Okay, cool. Does Willie Gay possibly have turf toe? I can't confirm it. I can't say there's no way it doesn't happen, but I think after having played a game and had the whole weekend, we probably would have heard something about that. And quite frankly, if Willie did have turf toe going into game one, I don't think they would have cut Cobb. Cobb is, like I showed with the athleticism before, Cobb's the only other guy that's a true will on this roster. Bolton, Neiman, Hitchens, they're all Mikes. So is Darius Harris. So I would think in terms of function and fit, if Willie was hurt, they would have kept Cobb in particular. I don't think that they trust Dorian to play the will in the base next to Hitch. So I just can't see it. But hey, I've been surprised before, especially if it's something that's maybe not confirmed yet and they're still trying to figure it out. I don't know. Yeah. Devin, thanks. I turned off the Wi-Fi on purpose and plugged in something while my screen was blank there. So hopefully this holds together and we're okay now. Yes, thank you, Doug. If you guys would hit that like, that always helps more Chiefs fans find us. Tony, hi. What do you think of the Chiefs giving Permian a look after being cut by the Lions? Permian doesn't interest me, and I don't think he interests Andy. I think they have too many receivers as it is. Is he better than Fountain or Kemp? Arguably. Does he know anything about the Reid offense? No. So I find it a long shot, but that's certainly a position group where if they can build and upgrade the bottom, then they're that much better off. And I think that will help Patrick. Going down the list here. Holly, glad you made it. Nice to see you. Okay. Everybody's saying that I'm back to normal. Okay, good. I know it's not good normal, but at least it's normal. Yeah, and believe me, you guys, I am kicking all the timbers. Elon Musk. I even applied for Elon Musk's new internet service. I'm on the beta list. Let's cross our fingers something happens. Someday I will look like every other streamer on YouTube and not this pixelated mess of a Minecraft looking dude. All right. Yes, I have kids. That's how I know about Minecraft. Haven't done that in a while. And I'm getting back to the questions. Hog Farmer, you got me, man. You've been here a while. That is the truth of it, bud. Okay. Thank you guys for all the feedback. I appreciate that. That helps me figure stuff out. Wink, know of any interesting cuts so far from around the league? I have been watching The Wire today to try and get a feel for it. The Bernardrick one is interesting. I haven't come up with anybody that I'm like, hey, they should go kick him, bring him in, claim him, and let's see this. Even Perriman didn't really strike my interest on initial. Maybe I'm trying to think if they have any ties. Did Perriman play for Lewis or Blameyer before the Chiefs staff? I don't think so. So I don't think that's out there either. Oh, and that's what Eric was asking about as well. Only Knives. Right now, Darwin and Gore have been cut. It is the 3. Clyde, Daryl, and Jarek. So it looks like I was right on that one. I don't think there's going to be any others. There will be Mike Burton. He is on the roster. And so you can count him as the 4 if you want. No, Patty, Fountain has not been cut that I am aware of. I will double check that here on TweetDeck just to see if any of the beat reporters have come up with it. And no new news. Although I do like seeing this. Hey, Alex was at the facility hanging out with Patrick today. I think that's kind of cool. Like a little flashback. Welcome back, Alex. I like seeing it. Let's see if I do this. Okay, there. And then you can get a better view. So I thought that was pretty cool. Very interested. I'm sure 65 Toss Power Trap is doing some recording around that, and we'll get a chance to see that eventually. Let's see. What do you expect from Pringle this season? I expect him to be in a rotation with Demarcus Robinson, and my guess is with Fountain for that X role. If you guys missed it yesterday, go check out my 53 prediction. Again, that was what I would do. But in it, I had listed, let's see, let me do this backwards and give you a view. I had over here, I had Hill and Robinson as X's. Then I had Hardman in the slot. And then over here, I had all 3 of those guys in Pringle, Fountain, Kemp, like the X types. Now, Robinson can do it all, so you can kind of move him wherever you want. But I think it's just kind of who gets a hot hand and who gets on a roll, how that's going to work out. And sorry, you guys, I am still getting texts from people around, and I want to make sure. Okay. Nothing that I can break right here. Might have something for you tomorrow. We'll see if I can get that confirmed. Chances that Dieter makes the roster. Gunner, they should be 0. Practice squad, I expect him to be back. I know he has a connection with Patrick. I know they like having him around. I know he and Tyreek are tight, and maybe that helps the locker room overall. But I saw nothing from him in the preseason that puts him in the top 7, let alone the top 5 if they only keep 5. So I don't think that's going to happen. Any chance LDT waives his no trade clause for a trade with a team like Pittsburgh? I mean, there's always a chance if it's faced with, hey, Laurent, like, we're not going to be able to keep you. There's just too much youth. And at your age and your injury, we don't think we can do it. Are you open to a trade? I think he would do it. I would guess someplace like Buffalo, because that's closer to a major Canadian city. You know what I mean? I don't see it being Pittsburgh or Cleveland or Tennessee or somebody that, that he could help come back and really give the Chiefs fits. How much did I miss? No more than my internet going out, preacher. No big deal. Steve Concepcion, which player cut were you sorry to see leave? I still think Zane Anderson has a ton of upside, as Amari Cobb, and I think they'll both be back on the practice squad, so I won't say I'm sad or sorry. But again, as I said last night in my 53, I would have given them the benefit of the doubt that they can learn to play the special teams part because of their upside athletically on the defense and how much faster they'll get there. Seth, salary cap already set for next year. It won't be finalized, no, until like the money contracts come in, TV money contracts come in and things like that. So there's a rough estimate, but it's not set in stone. Mr. Big Phil, how are you, bud? Did it feel good to see Tyreek be brilliant in the touchdown catch? No, I like Breezy. I think he's a good dude. I think he got put in a dumb situation. I expected him to go back to the sideline. It's like, I told you I can't play man on Tyreek. Why are you doing this to me? Where's the safety over my back protecting me? But no, I wish Breezy was here to tell you the truth. I like the guy. I know he's kind of a knucklehead off the field, but I like his tenacity. And I think you can see that the Chiefs like that too, because they have guys in there that they're trying to bring up the same way. So no, it's just who can cover Tyreek, especially without actually trying to jam him. I mean, that's ridiculous. Apparently Chiefs have waived Darwin Thompson per Sam McDowell, is a practice squad candidate. Would you rather have Gore? Yes, I would take Gore 10 times over that. Will the Chiefs? I don't know. Gore could get claimed too. That last screen, I know it's one play against third level backups. That kind of thing gets you noticed around the league. So I hope that Gore makes it back. Otherwise, I would think that Thompson would be their next choice. Maybe somebody else gets let go from somewhere else. I have no idea. Elijah Mcguire, that's the other one, Bill Meyer. Williams is not going to IR that I'm aware of, though. But Mcguire, yes. Daryl's going to be back and fine, I'm pretty sure. Sir? Me? Yeah, I was talking to you. I can stop that if you need me to. Austin, what do you think about the NFL Top 100? Is the top 5 accurate to you? I don't pay that much attention to it. If it wasn't voted on by players, I wouldn't pay any attention to it. But Patrick being number 1 certainly is what I expected, and I said that on Locked On. And I expected Travis to be a top 5. He was. I get that. Aaron Donald certainly is a shoe-in. Other than that, it's all back and forth conjecture. I'm not too worried about it. Adam, besides Tyron, do you see any other 2021 free agents getting contracts? I'd have to take a look at them. He's the only one that I'm concerned about at this point that I've actually paid attention to, where his market is and that kind of thing. I don't know. It is what it is. Seth, I do see that you have a super chat in here. I'm still getting caught up, man. I'm going to try to do it here. Everything got kind of wacky over there for a minute. Quinn, do you think someone will grab Powell through waivers before he can get to the practice squad? I personally don't. He's shown absolutely nothing outside of practice. He's had a couple of nice grabs in practice, but he's had a bunch of drops too. And so not putting anything major on film, I think will not put him on anybody's radar. If he had been making a couple of plays, even against the threes late in halves, and he was making big plays against them, then he would be on somebody's radar. I don't think that happens. I think Powell gets to the practice squad without an issue. If the Chiefs want him, there's no guarantee of that. Juicy Rogue. Yeah, I like that, Scott. Any moves so far indicative of an upcoming trade? Nothing specific that I can say. They're really crafty about it, so they're not going to telegraph it to me or anybody else. Certainly not anybody in the league. Do you think Darwin Thompson is giving a chance at practice squad? Can he get better at pass protecting and earn a spot on the roster? I don't. I have not seen progression from him. He looks like the same player that he came in as a rookie to me. He runs hard. He has limited athletic upside. He's not very good in pass pro. He's decent catching the ball, but not great. And I think his intensity and he put pressure on himself. He kind of was a knucklehead during this beginning of the season. I don't know. I'd be moving on. That's just me. California Chief, I'm glad that you have. I have too. Just a guy. Does he get traded? It is a possibility, but I don't think that it's likely. A 30-year-old guard who's been out for over a year, I don't think there's going to be a ton of interest myself. I think there would be interest in Blythe, who's played more actively, and Wiley, who's played a lot more recently, over anything. And they did a good job of showing Wiley play multiple positions, which is kind of a thing in the league too. So I think there could be. Big Chief Sean is here. I think you guys should say hello to him. I think you should check out his channel too over at Big Chief Sean here on the YouTube platform. I think you guys are going to like that. And maybe we'll get Sean to come on. We'll see him sometime. I'm working on all kinds of things, you guys. Susan, I'm glad that you're here. Thanks for showing. I'm here late. Any news on Willie Gay tweet? Is there any truth to it? Not that I've been able to find. Susan, none of my sources or none of the beat reporters that I've talked to that have sources have confirmed that. I have no idea where it originated. Signed Steven Sims Jr. Rock Chalk. I'm with you there, but I cannot abide. I'm sorry. I need upside. I need improvement. I don't know that it's there. Lavert Hill got cut loose by Philly. Would you be interested? Cole, I liked him last year, and I thought that he had the ability to improve. The fact that he didn't stick in Philly maybe is a red flag that maybe he's not taking coaching well and he's not able to actually develop. I could be wrong. But hey, I would take him back to the practice squad in a heartbeat, see what you got in him. Now that he's had exposure to other coaching, I think that might be good. Scott, how are you? After seeing how the roster is shaping up for the season, what positions should they focus on in next year's draft? I mean, that all depends on how it comes out here. But clearly, with Frank's injury here now, I know Kano's still on the roster now. He may make the 53 yet. I'm not sure that's enough. I think Chris wants to be out there. I'd like to see them invest more in the edge. And I'd like to see them invest. I think Travarius Ward I think he is one of the free agents that'll be up for it. I don't know that you're going to give him a big contract. So I don't know. Is Baker ready to step in opposite? That would put Hughes being outside one, Snead in the slot, and et cetera. I'd like to see them make an investment at corner as well. Ben, thank you again. That's 2 tonight. Appreciate you, man. Very, very much. Thank you. I'm sure you have a comment or a question down below. I'll get that here in a second. Seth, after all these years, what have we seen from Dieter? Not much. From what I understand, he is one of the guys that really contributes to the atmosphere in the locker room, though. And that is something. Having that culture continue is important to this administration, the front office and the coaching staff. So it does play a role. I can't say that it doesn't. I just don't know if it's worth that much investment in a role player, and one that I don't think can really help you on the field. Voodoo, Alshon Jeffrey is still available, and he played for Doug in a similar offense. Would you at least bring him in for a visit as the X, or is he done too injury prone, in your opinion? I think the injury prone part is the big concern. I think you bring him in, though, when you test him out, like you run him through a physical and you see what he is, because you're right. Enough exposure to the offense in enough similarities that Doug ran. I think it is interesting, but it's also telling that no one's done it. So I don't know that it's in the cards, man. Mr. Legacy, as I said last night, I think that he makes the roster. I think he should make the roster. And right now there's no indication that he won't. So keep your fingers crossed, and we'll find out tomorrow. I'm pulling for him. Zach Duggar, over under on the Wharton getting 6 sacks this year. Ooh, that's a great question, Zach. And it comes down to opportunity. I am a little bit surprised, pleasantly so, because you guys know I'm a Colin Saunders guy. Have been on him from the beginning. It seems that Colin has leaped back over Turk in terms of the rotation, in terms of the depth chart. And so then it becomes, when are they going to let Turk go play the other end? When is he going to rotate out there? Because I think he can get some things done as an edge. I'm going to take the under, but I think it might be kind of close. Could it be 4.5? Could it be 5? I think so. Aaron, thank you for this. If you guys would check out the other channel and subscribe to Locked On Chiefs, it gives you me with a counterpoint, and Chris is pretty good at reining me in, so I don't get so carried away with some of these things. But you gotta have a little bit of everything, you guys. Preachers of Hell County. So both Gore and Thompson were cut. Who else for sure? Sorry, I was late. I think Clark got let go. Shepard, Schoen, French, all let go. Zane Anderson, Devin Key, both let go. I think I've missed someone, but I can't remember off the top of my head. So there's another one out there. The cover special teams, I believe, with the big bad Burton away, is going to be awesome. I agree. I mean, he's less thick, but Mike Burton is an evolution of what Anthony Sherman was. He's not quite as good a downhill blocker, but he's close. I would say he's 90% in an I formation, straight head block through the hole like Anthony did. But I would say he's twice or 3 times the pass receiver. And that is a bigger role in Andy's thing. And Sherman was heads and tails before the fullbacks were before Andy got here. So you can see the evolution of it's still important to Andy when you have to have it, and it's still important that you can be a hybrid player. I think the fullback is becoming a hybrid player. I think the depth of the fullback is totally overrated. And if I can get Mike back on, I'll ask him myself for you guys so that you guys can hear his answer. But I think he would agree with me. The depth of the fullback is overrated. It is a changing position, though, and I think he is the example of experience, seeing how to evolve how the position is used in today's league. Where is Darrell Williams? Why is Darrell Williams the clear number 2? Because he can pass protect better than anybody else on the roster at the position. Because he catches nearly everything. I know you guys are going to say the Super Bowl thing, but he had a guy in his face and a hand through the thing and the stuff and the business. Darrell's pretty reliable. You take a look at how many touchdowns he scored catching the ball. I think that's why. And he's a guy that he needs a little more runway to get up to speed. but he can damage teams in the run game as well. He's a well-rounded back, and they like him. Okay, Night Hunter kind of laid it all out. Let's see if I missed somebody. Thompson, Gore, French, Wyatt Miller. I missed Miller. And Damone Harris, we talked about him earlier. And Austin Edwards, not Clark. It was Austin Edwards. Sorry. Eric, D-Rob irritates me at times, but he does all the little things winning teams need. How many short passes turn into big plays because of his blocking? That's a very good point. He is a great blocker and, more importantly, a willing blocker. He got that from Chris Conley. Chris Conley took him under his wing when he first got here, and that has turned into something reliable and something valuable, and that's important. Gary, what players do they protect on the practice squad? Well, it changes every week, but I would think if they get, my thought is they might be able to make a deal and have with a veteran or two like Blythe. We're going to release you. We're going to bring you back to the practice squad. We're going to call you up when we need you. I think they could do that with Blythe. I think they could do that with Bell. I think they should do that with Cobb and with Zane Anderson and with Devin Key. Now, obviously, the young guys need to clear waivers, but with Bell and Blythe, I think that you could do that and just have a gentleman's agreement. Hey, we're going to put you back on the practice squad. Don't sign with anybody else. And you'll be able to be elevated. And then they protect those veterans so that when somebody gets hurt, and again, I can't stress this enough, I think the organizational attitude is we're never going to let Patrick be that depleted on the offensive line again. And so maybe we can just stash somebody right there at the practice squad and pull them up when we need them, because attrition is a real thing in this league. Sean, no, Colin did not get cut. He will not be. He is the third defensive tackle right now. He's going absolutely nowhere. Where are you going? Nowhere. Sure, Veach have traded next year's number one for Julio Jones. No, I mean, it was tempting because Julio's a monster. And like my perception of him was less than what he really was. I had him actually, I thought he played maybe 13, 14 games the last couple of years. No, he's been like 15. Easy. So while it's good, I don't think that mortgaging the future is the thing. I think Veach is going to have to, in some point, because of the numbers on this roster, use that one to turn it into multiple twos and threes. And if he didn't do that, he'd be in a tough spot. Larry, is that much better than is he that much better than Jerick McKinnon? I assume you're talking about Darryl again. Darryl's way better in pass protection. I mean, night and day. Jerick is the more explosive back, especially in the passing game. So it's a back and forth. This is a committee. Clyde will get the bulk, but it really is a committee, mix and match in how you do things. The big thing is that he can protect Patrick when he needs to. He can run the ball when they need to. Jerick's okay in between the tackles, but he's a much better outside runner. He can catch the ball when you need to. Jerick's a more explosive pass catcher. So, yeah, it makes sense. And Jerick's the new guy. So, keep the rotation going. I think they're going to be just fine. So, Williams' concussion isn't serious. No, Wink. I expect him back at practice this week. Hakeem Butler got cut loose by Philly. Yeah, because Hakeem Butler is not a good NFL player. He was barely a decent college player. If you guys remember, I had him as an undraftable grade. And then, of course, I did the one thing that you should never do as a draft analyst. I listened to somebody else, and I put him back on my board reluctantly, and I shouldn't have done that. Yeah, he's not worth the look. Kevin Roden, do you think that the Chiefs carry 2 RBs on the practice squad? I think they might. And it would have been complicated if Elijah Mcguire hadn't gone to IR, but I think that they might. It is all, like Dave Rua says, whether Gore gets claimed or not. So it is what it is. Let's see here. Looking for question marks, you guys. If you got a question, do like Night Hunter did and throw them at the beginning. It helps me find them. I need to help my poor Huskers kind of stinking up the field. Who do you like in college ball? And if you say Alabama, I will throw up. I will not say Alabama. I have ties to certain programs. One being the University of Georgia, another being the University of Washington. I have some friends in the coaching ranks that will remain anonymous for now, so I pull for them as well. I watch to recruit and to evaluate, and so it really doesn't matter to me. I will tell you this, though. My wife's a Husker fan, and I probably end up watching nearly as many Husker games as I do Husky games and Georgia games, except Georgia's on TV, national TV, a little bit more often, so it helps me given that I live out of market. But yeah, I'm not much of a, I don't rah for anybody really at the college level. Gary, can the Chiefs definitely have 40 to 50 sacks this year? Definitely? No. I mean, I can't tell you definitely they'll do anything. Is it possible? Certainly. It is definitely within the realm of possibility. Let me make sure. Oh, I missed somebody. Moishe Herzey. Will Derek Gore get picked up by a different team? It is a distinct possibility. He did put some good film out there. I'm crossing my fingers it doesn't happen. We'll see. Thank you for the super chats. I appreciate that. I'm sorry I missed you. Eric Schneider, thank you. The hamsters were better. Seth, rookie question. Should the entire practice squad be filled Wednesday? Not necessarily. They have to extend invitations and contracts and that thing. And I will tell you this, I think they'll keep a couple of spots to try to pick up guys from other practice squads. Maybe it's or other roster cuts, I mean. Maybe it's veterans is my guess. I got Ben's second one. Thank you. I got the over-under. I missed Stevie here somewhere. Stevie, any truth to the rumors Gucci's super chat got cut? I don't think so. I think Gucci's all good to go. Gooch has like the everlasting whatever he wants to do on YouTube. I'm pretty sure. Chris in real life, thank you for the super chat. And that brings me back to Tom. I'll get to you in a second. Ben, does Yag get revealed when he gets doubled? I mean, every offensive lineman does. If you put a guy in each gap, offensive linemen are going to have to attempt to take both, which is a half-ass block on both sides, or they're going to reveal what their rules are. And there's a difference between scheme versus rules. We're going to have some conversations around that here as the season gets going, because it is about what your priorities are and what you've gone over in the rooms, the meeting rooms, as to determine what you're supposed to do. That's why PFF grades are a little iffy, especially on the offensive line. Have you heard anything on Cale Garrett visiting the Chiefs? Do you think that they will keep Boodle? I think they'll bring Boodle back to the practice squad. I don't think that he makes the 53. And Josh and I haven't heard anything about Cale Garrett getting back. Yeah, I haven't heard anything in him at all, to tell you the truth. Sean, how are you, bud? Is there anyone you do want to get cut? Nothing personal, of course. Anyone that I want to get cut? Man, I can't really say that. Like, there's nobody that rubs me the wrong way or that I think is like, a cancer or anything. There's guys that I think who've had their time and it needs to end, but no, I won't say there's anyone that I think needs to be cut or that I want to. Sorry. Let's see. Tom Davis, thank you very much for the super chat. Appreciate it. Looking for questions, you guys. Hit the question marks at the beginning, please, like Nicholas did. Who do we keep, Kemp or Fountain? What receivers make the team? I went over this in my 53 last night, and I have both of them making it. Because quite frankly, in terms of the passing game, I don't think anybody's played better. Outside of the top four, Hill, Hardman, Pringle, and Robinson, I don't think anybody's played better than Fountain or Kemp. I think they are the last two. And I do think that those six are what makes it. Nothing's changed me from where I was when I recorded it, and it was recorded last night. So I actually did it 2 days ago, and sometimes 2 days makes the difference. But I haven't come off of that yet. Dre, how are you? Do you think that we'll see Mahomes shovel pass a lot more this year than he did last year? I don't know a lot more, but I do think it will be in the offense. And I will tell you this: watch out for Noah Gray when he's on the field, especially when they start him out and they motion him in. Look for him to be the guy that takes it on the inside, because now they can use Tyreek on one side and Travis as another to pull coverage out of the middle, and I think that will pay off for them. So did we lose Gore? Yeah, he has been released. He will go to waivers. If he clears waivers, I expect him to be back, Sean. And I'm crossing my fingers because I like what he brought. Longmorn, thank you for your super chat. Appreciate it. Which CB gets cut? Pete or Boodle or both? That's a good one. I think on the depth chart, I think Bo Pete has Boodle beat a little bit. at least where they are now developmental wise. So it becomes, are they going to keep 5 or are they going to keep 6? I kept 6, and Bo Peep being the last. If they're in a rut, or if they have to keep 10 offensive linemen, they might only keep 6 or 5 corners, in which case both of them would get cut, is my thought. So I don't know. What we're going to see tomorrow is going to tell us a lot about a lot of the guys that aren't there are going to tell us a lot about what they think of the guys that are. And that is like as cross positional as I've ever seen it in the Chiefs cut downs. Scott, who will be doing the kick returns? I prefer Pringle over D-Rob. Everyone perverts everyone over D-Rob. He will not be doing that. My guess is it's going to be Hughes on the punts, and on kick returns, I hope it's not McCole, but it feels like that's the way they're doing it. Oh, and there's old Harms chiming in. Dan, if you want a link, you can jump in here and defend your boy. I'll send it to you right now. I know you're pretty tied up, but I might as well send it to you. Just, since you got a guy that I'm running down, I'd love to hear this argument. This will be fun. I'm sending that. I'm glad that Dan's here, though. Hold on. Another text coming in on the text line. Oh, nope. Nothing I can confirm. Smash, smash, smash. I like that, Night Hunter. I don't generally say that. I don't know if I should. It feels silly because I'm old. So you guys tell me if I should start saying that just to be funny. I can liven it up. I guarantee you. Let's see. Where am I? Okay. Seth. Since there isn't any really seeing Clyde this preseason, do you expect his snap count and carries? I expect his foot to be fine. And if it is, then I expect him to get, say, about 60% of the carries. And I know that they'll have to manage that back and forth. And yes, good point, Aaron. Please go check out Chief Sean's. You can look Chief Sean. I don't have a link readily available, but I will get that ready and I will have it for you on Thursday. Yeah, Dan is indisposed, but we can argue about this next time you're available, Dan. No problem. Deldrick, do you see us trading a better cornerback than Hughes? I think they like Hughes, and I feel like they're supporting him and coaching him up in a way that he might get to the potential that I thought he had all along. I'm really hopeful for that. But I will say this too. I think they can definitely trade if somebody of quality is available to bolster the position. Absolutely. Let's see. Jack, any QBs you think will get cut that should take Buechele off the practice squad? I mean, none that I know of. Quarterbacks are like gold. Nobody's going to give anybody that they can play away. So I kind of doubt it, but I don't know. The one guy that I kind of liked that was kind of a dark horse was Mond, but he kind of, again, turned into a knucklehead in Minnesota. So I don't know that I'd even want him on this roster. Predictions on Frank Clark's stats this season. Thanks, Rajak. I'm going to say 11 sacks. And hopefully 60-plus pressures. That's what I really care about. Because if he's getting that much pressure, he's running the quarterbacks into Chris Jones, and I'm fine with that. Yes, please put your question marks before, and that's how I find them, like Red Hood Chief. Thoughts on Bernard McKinney or Levert Hill? I liked Hill coming out. I didn't see him develop with the Chiefs, and now it seems that he hasn't developed with the Eagles. I don't know. I'd take another look if it were me. I'm certainly fine with that, but at this point, I think you have to go claim him, and I don't think the Chiefs will do that. McKinney is if we were 10 years ago, I'd claim him in a minute, but he's what the Chiefs are trying to get away from in the linebacker core. Doug, thoughts on the Perdition wins? Win-loss record, Perdition, I'm not sure what you mean. Win-loss record 12-5, 13-4, or 20-0. 20-0, I'm guessing no. I personally am still leaning towards 14-3. I think there's going to be some hiccups, but I think it's going to be mostly good. Dave, when do the Chiefs start signing people to the practice squad? It'll be Wednesday. The deadline is Tuesday, 3 p.m. KC time, 2 p.m. my time. Maybe you could see something right after that in terms of like signings. If somebody's released, the veterans could get signed that night. But the practice squad, like any of the young guys that have to go through waivers, that's not for till the next day. Sounds like DeAndre Baker is still working his way back from the injury, but he played really well. Do you think that he has a chance to start outside once he's fully healthy? Yes, he definitely has a chance. Will he? I can't guarantee that. But right now, I have him and Fenton 4 and 5, and it's pretty close. I think the only question is Baker is an outside only guy. Fenton can play both. Fenton can play every position in the secondary, to tell you the truth. And so I think it becomes maybe fit and finish. Maybe it's game plan dependent. And I think the only way he would do that is if Hughes or Ward gets hurt. So it would be dependent, but yeah, he could do it. Fitz, is our offensive line depth adequate enough in case of injuries? Don't want to get to another Super Bowl loss like that. I completely agree with you. And I think so, because I think that LDT is going to get back healthy, and then he's going to be super quality depth. Wiley's good depth. Remmer's decent depth. I know he had a terrible Super Bowl, but he's still better than Prince, as far as I can tell. So is there an opportunity to pick up another depth tackle and maybe trade some of that out? Yeah, I think there probably could be. So keep an eye out for that. Doug, thank you for pointing that out, folks. We're like over 650 or 550 now. If you guys would hit that thumbs up, that would really help. Let's see. Looking for questions. Seth, a 4 tight end set with behind the back passes. No. If you're going to do a behind the back pass, I don't know that you're trusting a tight end. Travis Kelce would be the only one, and I still don't think that I would do that. Mr. Big Phil, what's the reason for the delay of starting the season a whole week? It's because they took out the 4th preseason game and they didn't want to mess with the rest of the schedule. The idea of compressing the preseason means that you could possibly have had more injuries. Luckily, Chiefs have been pretty good on injuries, but that allows you that extra week, that extra practice space to get somebody back. And so that you're not having that, like, just the week before injuries. So I think overall, it's a good thing. Who do you think are going to be the top 5 defenses in the league this year? Zach, that's a really good question. I lean towards the Bucs, the Niners, Washington football team. I like what Buffalo has, but I'm not certain. The Rams. And I'd have to come up with a 5th. I don't know. Not off the top of my head anyway. I'd have to do a little research, Zach. Austin Hugh. Brown Jr. has left me very unimpressed with his performance this preseason, especially when you consider he was going up against primarily backup rushers. Should we be concerned? I've said it since the day he signed him. It's not going to be the smoothest transition. There are going to be hiccups. He's going to make some mistakes. He's going to lose some snaps. Not the end of the world. He will be fine. But it is definitely a big challenge in changing over. Let me see if I can pull them up. And so when you look at it, you have Orlando, you have Mike Remmers, you have Prince. Those are the guys right now that are tackle specifics. Everybody else is a tweener, including Remmers, including Wiley. So, I mean, it's tough. He's going to have his issues, but he's going to be the starter, and he's going to be fine in the end. I like the way he plays. I think he needs to move his feet a little bit more for this offense than he ever had to in his previous offense. But that's just me. Okay. Paddock, how are you? Good to catch you live. I'm glad that you did. Surprised Evan Key got cut. I thought he'd make it. I'm not. If he had played a second game at all with the 1s or 2s, then maybe I would be. But he went downhill badly, and he did not play well or perform well in games. So didn't really catch me off guard. Steve, what would it take for the NFL to become truly international? It would take divisions that play as groups in Europe. That travel's a killer. And it would take, I think, 4 at least. More like 6 or 8, in all honesty, to get it done. And I think the UK, Ireland, probably Germany has interest, I don't think that there's enough. An old friend of mine, in fact, just before I tried to become a coach, I had secured, or at least had mostly secured a coaching opportunity in the NFL Europe League just about 4 months before they closed it down. And a friend of mine had played over there for a couple years in Scotland, and they loved it. But he also told me that even back then, when they traveled around, the interest was not the same across all of Europe. So I think that would be the key. 6, maybe 8 markets that really want it. Gary, do we need a 4 tight end, or can we just use 3 to save for another position? I think, unfortunately, if you want to be well-rounded in having and keeping a guy that is mostly just for blocking in Blake Bell, you have to keep 4, because Noah Gray is going to take some time to, I think, get into the groove. You got to have another option. I think Jody's it. Frank, is Chris Jones going to hurt Baker Mayfield? I'm worried for his health. CJ looks like he's amped up. He is amped up. Chris Jones isn't going to intentionally try to hurt anybody, though. But I will say this, Baker. 2.5 seconds, get the ball out. That's what I'd be doing. I don't think it's going to be much of an issue, because I think they're going to run Chubb all over the Chiefs forever. And I think it's going to work pretty well. If Nick Chubb gets 4 yards a carry, they can keep doing it, and they can afford to keep doing it. I think they probably will. Let's see. Cole, do you have a link to Seth Kaiser's channel? I searched for it. Seth doesn't have a channel. He's now a member of RGR, man. That's why. Yeah, there is no channel for Seth. If you want to see Seth's Substack, his written stuff, this is it. Minnesota Chiefs fan.substack.com. That's like his blog. But he doesn't have a channel. That's why he joined us. Let's see. Preachers. Best Chiefs since Mahomes became the number 1. What say you? The best Chief since Mahomes. Whew. Man, that's a tough one. Snead. Probably Snead. In terms of new guys, yeah. Let's see. David, we all prefer Wiley over D-Rob returning kicks. Hey, you never know. That could happen. Wiley's got some hands. I'm just going to tell you guys. Wiley, LDT, Kyle Long, most like scenario playing out there. I mean, Wiley right now is the only one who's even close. I think Kyle Long's going to the pup. I think he'll be there 6 to 8 weeks, and then he'll come back. LDT, I'm really up in the air about. I think that they'll put him on the roster. Maybe his hand's healed enough and he's okay, and he's just the quality depth that he is. Maybe they have to put him on IR. I don't know. We're going to find out real quick, though. Albono, if Hardman pans out, what do you think his role with the offense will be? I mean, he'll be the explosive guy, because they're going to try to double and take Tyreek away constantly, and they're going to try to do that with Travis. If he can get loose and be where he's supposed to be and do what he's supposed to do, he can be the next 1,000-yard receiver for this team. If he can't, he, Pringle, Robinson are going to have to piece together. And whoever else gets snaps. Jack, as a respectful fan from another team, who do the Chiefs fear the most in the AFC West? Fear is probably a long shot, and I can see by your icon who you're talking about. I will tell you this. I think that they have a healthy respect for what they're trying to do in putting speed on the Raiders' offense to try and keep up. Is that enough? I don't know. They've signed like 17 million safeties. Stevie will tell you about that. And I think that is in an effort to find guys that can maintain coverage deep. Maybe they go to more dime this year. That's what I would do if I were them. I think they have the personnel to do that. But fear, I'm guessing it's Herbert and the Chargers, because I think Herbert is a quarterback with enough weapons and a defense to back him that they feel might be able to keep up with them if they have a B game. You know what I mean? Like, the Chiefs have to play a ball against the Chargers is my thought. But I think there's still hope for your Raiders, though, Jack. Don't take that poorly. Can Gray and Fortune spread out too wide from the 14 personnel package? Yes, they both can. Fortune was a wide receiver, and Gray lined up. I mean, of the films that I watched, and I didn't get a ton of Duke film, but of what I watched, he was split out in that short slot kind of area the majority of the time. How does our punter remind you of the kid in Dazed and Confused? Girls just keep staying the same age, right? I hear you. I can see that. Could you see Veach pulling a Jimmy Johnson in the draft and draft a QB, grow him, and trading him for a haul instead of just trading back to combat the cap? Not with Mahomes, no, because you can't really trade anybody up. Nobody else is going to get snaps as long as he's healthy. And job number one for this organization is to keep Patrick healthy. Does Powell make the practice squad? Yes. If he does, is the potential to make 53 next year? Yes. I think both of those, Carter, are within not only realm of possibility, but I think that is the plan. Steve, we are over time, guys. I'm sorry I'm taking so long. I'm going to try to get to these questions, and I think I have another super chat from Miss Holly. Does Veach have one more crazy trade in him this season? Oh, yeah. Or 3 or 6. You never know. It's all about opportunity. I can tell you the one thing he's not going to do is trade for Deshaun Watson. That's about all I got, you guys. Everything else I think is probably on the table. Do you like Allegretti over Blythe? Yes. How can you – I can't get over how Allegretti was embarrassed in the Super Bowl. I understand that. I've seen nothing from Blythe that tells me he's better, though. Jeremy, I'm late. Who have they already dressed? Everyone. I'm about to end, buddy. Sorry. And that was 10 minutes ago that you said that. Chris, how would you rank our CBs amongst each other with Snead at 1? Snead is definitely 1. Ward 2. Hughes, Baker. No. Hughes, Fenton, Baker, Bo, Pete, Boodle. That's how I'd rank them, Chris. Let me know what you would do. Thanks, Doug. I appreciate it. I'm trying. I'm going to try to hit these last ones, and we'll get out the dough. Maybe I missed it. Wait, there it is. Miss Holly. Thank you, Miss Holly. My internet hamster's died for just a bit now. Ryan, can I buy some of yours? Mine are on their last legs, my dear. That's not going to help you. But thank you, and I appreciate the support as always. I'm trying to get my wife into the Discord to hang out with some of the ladies. I'll keep trying to do that. How confident are you in Ward at corner? Mr. Big Phil, I think he's in the right position now. He's the number 2. And as you guys who've been here since the beginning of this channel, that's what I've said from day one, is that he is a number 2 corner. And I think if Snead can take the best receiver, and a lot of teams are putting the best receiver in the slot now. If Snead can take him, I think that Ward stands a better chance than we've seen in the last year or two. But he also has to do some work. He has to improve. So we'll see what happens. All right. I'm looking for the last couple of questions. And Terrell. Presently constructed, is this defense suited to be able to defend the run better than previous years? I think that it is. Because I think Noddy a little bit lighter is better, because I think that not only can he still take on the doubles, that's not a concern, he can split them more, I think. Jaron Reid can split and dominate doubles. Those two guys as your starters helps all the linebackers. I think it helps defending the run. I think that Colin Saunders healthy and Tershawn Wharton in year 2, having adapted to the NFL, I think they're both going to be better as well. So I feel a lot better about the run, especially when Hitch is able to run faster because he's playing lighter and he has more protection from the D tackles in front of him. I think that makes the whole defense better. I'm pretty excited about that if you couldn't tell. Sorry. Yeah, hey, Ben, you're probably right. I won't put it past any of the blog sites to make up stuff just to try to get some headlines. That is a known quantity. Mr. Big Phil, do we have enough speed on the secondary to cover these speed burners in the AFC? That is the question. Snead certainly does. Ward's very good. Baker, Fenton, Hughes are all lesser in terms of foot speed. So it becomes about the safeties and protecting the guys over the top. And that's why they need Juan. They need Juan to be Juan. And I have faith in him. So I'm going to tell you that. And I think, one more. Hassan, how are you? Do you think that the Browns are competition to the Chiefs? Absolutely. I think the Browns are probably the favorites to win their division. They're a hard-nosed team. And I think that they have probably the most kryptonite for the Chiefs outside of the Chargers right now. Because they can run the ball at them effectively. And when they do, they will then play action the snot out of it. And with a younger secondary, that is more problematic. So I think it is a good combination. This is going to be a heck of a game with the Cleveland Browns in week 1. So I will wrap it there. I will say thank you for everyone for the support and the super chats. I hope that you guys enjoyed this. Sorry to leave only half the screen there, but I'd look absolutely terrible if I didn't anything else. So more to come. Dan will have something for you tomorrow and Wednesday. Seth and I will be live on Thursday. We'll have some more stuff coming for you as well as we get up to speed. And look for a new one. The Rogue Head Huddle should be coming out for everyone very, very soon, by week 1, if not before. That is Stevie Keys and the Gooch together at last. I hope you guys are going to dig that. If you're a member, you've already seen a couple of them, so you know what to expect. You all have a great night. Thank you for the support. We'll catch you next time.